All right, well, this is going to be a really interesting video because it contains artillery, which I hate. And then we're going to get into a discussion about why Arty's a hot mess, the way it's implemented. Had a couple beers, was playing with some friends. One of them said, "Why don't you play Arty?" I said, "Sure, I'll go ruin people's gaming experience. I haven't done it in a long time." And of course, picked the worst, just garbage, 12 or 13 meter splash premium HE monster that is the T92. Because if you're going to do it, go big or go home. And yeah, didn't really care what kind of map we got. Figured, have a go at it regardless. I mean, here's the thing. Good players will do better in Arty, but you don't need a lot of skill. The skill ceiling range is very compressed. And it's the nature of the mechanics. I'm not saying bad things about people who play it or people who play Arty well but no other class well, because that's just what they like. Hey, you like it. That's your prerogative. And I'm not going to say bad things about people who enjoy it. What I will say bad things about is people who defend it, because if you're defending it, you probably don't have a very good understanding of the mechanics of the game and why it's so unbalanced in its current form. So anyway, we get Lakeville. It's actually a pretty good map for Arty, as you'll see. I mean, I literally put 0 effort into this match. I just figured I would move like 20 meters to the left, 100 meters to the right, and the outcome is just kind of hilarious, considering. It won't surprise anybody who's aware of Arty's capabilities, but I mean, just how little effort I could put into this kind of damage. And to be honest, it's not even a particularly impressive amount of damage for what you can do. But anyway, so probably would have been a DWI. Right? I'm not driving a car though, I'm driving an Arty. Just gonna back up from the spawn. It's a lot of skill here. Try and remember how to use this controls, because I don't play Arty very often at all. Ridiculously long reload and horribly inaccurate gun, so I'm certainly not going to shoot at him. But I know there's going to be people crossing and people behind the hill. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get ready to shoot in this area. Again, this isn't really like skill. You just have some basic map knowledge. And then at some point I'm going to change to that God view, which, to be honest, I wish they never implemented. It's just terrible. So this guy, look at him. He's behind some hills. He thinks he's safe. I mean, 800 damage. Get outplayed. This is ridiculous. I've had enough of their nonsense, though. I see they're all over in, well, it's kind of a mean name, so we'll just call it the Valley. Don't go to the Valley. You go brawl in the city, because from the city you can come back and defend or attack their base. I don't even need to get into it. This isn't about that. So I can play back here and they can't see me because this game's ridiculous. I can literally just sit here with no worries in the world, especially now that their Arty's dead. I don't know where their Arty was going. That was dumb. And look at this. They're all clustered here. They're hull down. They're brawling. And I don't have any time for that. So, I mean, here, don't camp. There's no skill in that. I mean, a Super Conqueror is arguably the strongest tier 10 tank in the game. And I mean, that was just ridiculous. Now I get to sit and wait for 40 seconds. That's a lot of fun. More skill. I mean, look how dependent I am on my team, though. They're all holding them back, right? Anybody comes over there, I get destroyed. So it's not like you really control the outcome, because if you don't have anybody doing what you need them to do, you just lose. But let's watch. This is another really, really skillful shot. So challenging. Look at this guy. Yeah, I even hit the super comp. I mean, it's really hard, guys. So now the challenge is just the reload so long. These guys are getting destroyed, and I just have to sit around and wait for 20 seconds. I'll be honest, I don't even enjoy this. It's not even fun. I guess if somebody does find it fun, again, that's fine, and don't let anybody take that away from you. Just please don't defend artillery, because this is garbage. Just little garbage. All right, so this guy is doing his thing. He's trying to battle. I don't really care. I delete him. Nobody understands artillery, but I know he hates me. Probably got salty messages for that. And now the game is ending. I have 25 seconds left. you know, it's likely, I think from what I remember, I'm not even going to get more shots than that. I honestly don't remember. And, you know, that's it. So I sat in two spots, and just completely pooped on people's game experience who were playing hold down properly. And believe me, this is great to watch, though. Yeah, can't get the shot off in time. And, you know, those guys didn't have a chance with me there. But, I mean, it would have been a great battle. So, all right, now we're going to get into the, like, what could we do? Because I watched that video and I think this is just garbage and something definitely has to change. So, let's chat about that a little bit. Well, that's really the problem, is that as it's built, with the huge alpha, with all the perks it gets for being pretty well hidden enough to hide from light tanks and outspot them, it just doesn't have a place in the game. And this is something we see on PC over the 10 years it's been out really struggle with. So there's no way we're going to figure it out and have it be flawless and have everybody be happy about it. But you also can't just delete it. And I'll get into that because it might surprise people that know me to hear that. I don't like Arty. I think it should be removed from the game. It's World of Tanks, not World of, you know, lob a grenade over a wall and pray that it hits. It's too much RNG. It actually takes away the ability to, you know, play the game properly in some cases. I mean, the arguments about it creating dynamic gameplay, and that's something that was said many years ago, but it's just nonsense. But people put time into this, and there are some people that enjoy playing it. So if it's in the game, you can't just add a hand say uninstall it. It's not the real world. Honestly, it's rude. Sure, I hate it, but, you know, I don't hate the people playing it. You know, I may get mad at them when they one-shot me with their, you know, 2-tier down Arty, but that's just the way it is. So the conversation should be about how do we make it so that they can still have fun on some level, maybe not be so overpowered in certain cases. They can not lose their investment of time that they put into these lines, because there are people that it seems like it's all they play, but balance it out a little bit more, taking into account the realities of the console version of this game. So we'll talk about some of those. So as I said, you know, everybody wants to remove it. Who doesn't like it? You can't do that. They're not going to do that. If you think about it, people pay money. Sometimes they pay money for free XP grinds. There's no way they can make it acceptable to the people that have ground these lines. And look, there's a lot of people who don't like Arty who have it for competitive play where you need the 261 or the CGC. So, you know, that's just not going to work. Removing it from the game would require probably a pretty considerable financial, you know, plan to reimburse people for the millions of experience points that they've invested in those lines. So the first real step I would suggest, and I've seen this posted by other folks too, when this conversation comes up, is, look, you got to accept that console maps are flatter than their PC counterparts. We just don't have the vertical height. Maybe some of that's because this originated on the Xbox 360. I don't know. I don't think it's something they can just push a button and it magically changes. So the shell arc, you know, right now, you can get hit when you're behind rocks that it just doesn't even look possible. And I'm not just talking about with the British tanks that are kind of known for that shell arc. So make more areas already safe simply by making the shell arc more like an M12, which is pretty low. And you know, put some time into super test and see, does it really make a difference on where they can hit? All right, the next one should be pretty simple as well. Right now, if you have a stack of skills and a camo net and you're an Arty, you actually can outspot light tanks, and that's absolute nonsense. And, you know, when you have the biggest gun on the battlefield, at least, you know, historically or in a lot of cases, or even just as a class where you're just this enormous cannon, there's no sound deadening, it's just boom, right off into the sky. Your camo and view range should both be crap. First of all, you should be relying on other people to spot for you. And second of all, everybody within spotting distance should see you. That's the whole point. And if it gets to the part of the battle where that causes you to get spotted, well, you've probably lost anyway. Now, I'm not saying they should have zero camo, but greatly reduce it so that they aren't doing this nonsense where they can stay unspotted against really high tier, maxed out light tanks with great crews. So another change I think that would greatly benefit the balance of artillery is that if you're not in top-down God mode or that pinpoint mode that was added a while ago, your accuracy should go out the window. Now, I have played Arty lines, and I can tell you that one of my M badges on my M5355 was with the stock gun on Himmelsdorf because shotgunning is too easy. There's no way that they should pull off some of these rotating reticles the size of the screen shotguns. And to be honest, it takes away what makes other classes of tanks that come upon them, like a light or a speedy medium, it takes their strengths and throws them out the window. This should be beyond a Hail Mary. And if you know what you're doing right now, it's just way too easy. And it's pretty unbalanced because the damage, the alpha they do. So this one's probably contentious because, believe me, I know people who are like, reduce the alpha, leave them with the same reload, and to hell with anybody that plays Arty. But again, that's not taking a realistic look at things. You can't punish people for playing the game, even if it's in a way you disagree by the design of a class. And I don't mean people who, abuse physics or push you or garbage things like that. They should be judged poorly. But reduce the alpha and the reload. So make Arty more fun for these people. And maybe with some of the other nerfs that I'm suggesting, it really wouldn't unbalance the game, especially if you cut the reload in half and the alpha by a lot more than that. There's no reason that a tier 6 Arty should be able to almost or completely one-shot a tier 8 tank. There's no reason a tier 8 Arty should be able to do over 1,000 damage. It's just foolish. It just doesn't have a place in the game. So reduce the alpha, and then just make it reload faster so that people who are playing Arty actually may end up having more fun because they're not sitting there waiting for 30 seconds between shots. This one might be a little more esoteric for people that don't play a lot of Arty or don't get to the higher tier Artys, and that's getting rid of AP. Now, sounds like how many people are really using it, but in a T92 or an Object 261, I mean, you can one-shot anything in the game. It's just stupid. It's a total slot machine. There's absolutely no skill in it. Just take that out. Get rid of that. Nerf the alpha to HE and premium HE. You want to leave the splash the way it is. With the less alpha, it's probably not as big of a deal because the damage you take in splash is some sort of crazy voodoo formula that's really based on the alpha. So if you don't have a 2000 alpha, you're not going to be hitting people 12 feet, 12 meters away for 900 damage. So get rid of AP as part of the nerfing alpha package as well. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of other suggestions. I've seen some great ones, both on the subreddit, even the forums, as I know that can sound a little crazy. They get a little nuts, especially about Arty. And there's even been some good ideas over on PC that were never implemented. So, look, we're stuck with artillery. It's not going to be gotten rid of. The best we can do is have a conversation about it, and hopefully somebody in Wargaming hears us saying, look, this is enough. I'm sure there are plenty of people who say, oh, it's just fine. I've had disagreements with those people. I happen to think that those of us that disagree with Arty in the current state are right, looking at it from a game balance perspective. But, look, you want to share your thoughts here on the sub, make sure your voice is heard. And who knows, they have started rebalancing things. I know it kind of took a pause with the SummerSlam release. It is what it is, but I would certainly like to think that after finally nerfing the 183s and the Waffle, rest in peace, my FV4005, that maybe they will take a look at the Arty class. So I know this was a little bit longer than usual. Thanks for listening. I really am interested in hearing your thoughts. So like I said, leave them in comments or create a thread on the subreddit. And, my username's the same as my YouTube name. You could just ping me on there. Thanks.